Hey everybody, welcome back to Mr. A Geometry course. Today we're covering section 12.2 of geometry, going over the surface area of prisms and cylinders. Let's get into it. Here in 12.2, we're solely focused on one measurement of prisms and cylinders, and that measurement is surface area. So what is surface area? That is just the sum of all the bases and faces that make up the solid. All right, so any given shape, like a rectangular prism is so, has a net to it. That net to the right is just showing you all the 2D figures that make up this prism. I'll give you another solid example of it here. I have a rectangular prism, but this just opens up. It's just made of these four shapes. The surface area, these 6 shapes. The surface area is just adding the area of all 6 shapes together. Okay, and you could break it down. You could look at your figure and say, I'm going to find the area of this rectangle and that rectangle and that rectangle and that rectangle and that one and add them all up. Or we could follow just a much smoother formula that exists. Okay, and this is that formula. Surface area is 2 capital B plus capital PH. We obviously need to know what those stand for. The capital B stands for the area of the base. The capital P stands for the perimeter of the base. And then, of course, the H just stands for height. So your formula for the surface area of prisms, and that is a typo, that should say cylinders, is 2 base areas plus the perimeter of the base times the height. As we apply our formula here, the key is going to be visualization and organization, right? So it's what side of your solid is the base, for you to find that base area and that perimeter of the base, and then how are you going to organize your work so it doesn't look crazy and you understand what you're doing when you look back at your examples here. So as we look at this solid, we need to understand that bases have to be opposite sides of a prism. So when I look at this, I could say that this is the base over here, and therefore this rectangle across from it on the opposite side of the solid would be the base, and the height would then be the value connecting those two. I could also, though, visually look at this as this on the bottom down here, this rectangle that's 12 by 3 being the base, and then the opposite side also being the base, and then 8 being our height that is connecting it. And that's how I think most people prefer to visualize this, so that's what we're going to roll with. We're going to roll with that rectangle being our base and our height being 8 units long. So here's how I like to stay organized. I do capital B for base, and then I just redraw that solid, right? We have a 12 by 3, that 2D base there, 12 by 3 rectangle. And we find the area of any rectangle by just doing base times height, 12 times 3. By the way, it's safe to assume for prisms, these 4-sided shapes here, even though they appear like diagonal, like parallelograms, it's safe to assume that those are rectangles. That 12 and 3 can be our base and our height as we calculate. 12 times 3 gives me an area of 36 feet squared. Now, my perimeter is the perimeter of the same shape. If I'm calling this the base, that's the side of my solid that I need to find the perimeter of. That's just adding all the sides together. 3 plus 12 plus 3 plus 12. Gives me a perimeter of 30 units. And then my height is just the distance between this base and the opposite base in the solid. So again, these would be my bases. If I call the bottom a base, the side opposite would also be the base. The perpendicular distance between them would always be my height. So my height is 8. Now I have the 3 values required for my surface area formula. Surface area is 2 base areas, so 236, plus the perimeter of 30 times the height of 8. And I always like to just do these in 2 steps. I do the multiplications first, so 2 times 36 gives me 72, 30 times 8 gives me 240, and then my last step is just adding those together. 240 plus 72 gives me 312. Let me just confirm that I didn't make a mental mistake there. 312 feet squared for my surface area of this prism. We're going to do another surface area of a prism here. This is a triangular prism. It's very important to understand and remember that the bases are always the opposite ends of your solid, and they will always be congruent figures in your prisms. They will always be the same. If you think the base is this rectangle on the bottom, there is no rectangle opposite of it. There is no opposite side for the sides here for 3 rectangles given to us. The opposite congruent figures are the triangles in the front and the back. So again, just another visual representation here. Here we have a triangular prism. That triangular prism is made up of 2 triangles and 3 quadrilaterals, 3 rectangles connecting them. Again, it's the 2 congruent shapes that must be your bases for your prism. So the triangles are what we're finding the area of. So being organized, I like drawing that base separate with the measurements that are required to find the area. For a triangle, you're doing base times height divided by 2. So I'm doing 4 times 6 divided by 2. And that would give me an area of 12 centimeters squared. My perimeter, again, needs to be for the same shape. Well, then it might be a little confused here. Like I know the bottom's 4, but I don't have these. Again, the key is to remember your bases are always congruent in your prisms. So if those edges are 7 for the triangle in the back, they're also 7 here for the triangle in the front. So that's 7, that's 7. Therefore, my perimeter is the sum of the 3 sides, 4, 7, and 7. Added together, give me a perimeter of 18. Remember, my height is not how tall, it's the distance between the congruent bases. The height for this would be 12 centimeters. Now I can calculate my surface area. Again, my 3 measurements needed are the area of the base, the perimeter of the base, the height of the prism. So 2 base areas, 2 12s, plus the perimeter of 18 times the height of 12. And again, I like to do 2 steps. First step is I'm multiplying these. 2 times 12 gives me 24. 18 times 12 gives me 216. And then second step is adding those together. 24 plus 216 gives me a surface area of 240 centimeters squared. Let's see how this applies to cylinders. Now you need to remember that the surface area formula that we've learned here applies to both prisms and cylinders, because these are essentially the same shape. The only thing that's different is that the bases of cylinders are always circles. Okay, so prisms and cylinders are the same, but bases are circles on cylinders. So I'm going to use the same surface area formula. I'm going to use the same organization. So I'm drawing my base separate. This would be the circles. We have a radius of 7. And I find the area of a circle by doing pi r squared. Pi times my radius of 7 squared will give me an area of 49 pi. Now we can leave surface area for cylinders in terms of pi. I'm going to do that. I like leaving it in terms of pi. Just make sure you're paying attention to directions on questions. If they ask you to round to the nearest 10th, then we can actually multiply by pi and get a rounded answer there for the area. We need to remember, of course, that the perimeter of a circle is known as the circumference. And circumference is found by doing diameter times pi. If my radius is 7, my diameter would be double, be 14, and therefore my circumference would be 14 pi. And remember, your height is not always how tall it is, it's the distance between your circles for these cylinders. We have a height of 14 in this example, and we can now plug all this into our surface area formula. So 2 base areas, 249 pi's, plus the perimeter, 14 pi, times the height of 14. Again, I do this in 2 steps. I'm doing the multiplication first, 2 times 49 to give me 98 pi, plus 14 pi times 14 to give me 196 pi's. And then I like adding those together. So you got 196 plus 98 to give me 294 pi inches squared for the surface area of this rectangle. Again, I like leaving my answer in terms of pi. If a question asks you to round to anything, you would just do 294 times pi here at the end, and you can have a rounded decimal as your answer. We got another cylinder here that we're going to find the surface area of. So again, 2 base areas plus perimeter times height. We're just organizing our work here. So capital B for area of the base. We're given a diameter of 8 this time. So my radius would be half of that, which would be 4. And that'll be the value that I use in my area formula. Pi times my radius of 4 squared gives me an area of my base of 16 pi. My perimeter of the circle is found with circumference. That's diameter times pi. I was given a diameter of 8, so my circumference is 8 pi. My height, again, is the distance between my bases. Between my circles, I have 12 inches as my height. And again, these three values are getting plugged into our surface area formula. 2 base areas, 2 16 pi's, plus the perimeter of 8 pi times the height of 12. Right, 2 times 16 pi gives me 32 pi. 8 pi times 12 gives me 96 pi. My surface area is then found by adding those together. 32 pi's plus 96 pi's gives me 128 pi inches squared for my surface area. I've neglected to mention so far, surface area is still a 2-dimensional measurement. It's still going to be units squared, even though we're dealing with 3D shapes. This is a 2D measurement, so always units squared. Throughout Unit 12, we're going to be learning how these 3-dimensional measurements are involved with similar figures. So for surface area, any similar solids are going to have surface areas that are proportional to the square of the scale factor between those two solids. As a reminder, scale factor comes from 1-dimensional measurements. Like how much larger did the 1-dimensional measurements become from a pre-image to an image? Well, when we square that scale factor, our surface areas will be proportional. Why squaring? Because area is a 2-dimensional measurement. It's always units squared. So in 1 dimension, we may have inches, but in 2 dimensions, we have inches squared. So surface areas are going to be proportional to squares of 1-dimensional measurements. All right, typically heights are going to be the easiest things that you can use for those 1-dimensional measurements in your scale factor. So for example, as we look at these two solids, if we say the big one was our pre-image and the smaller one is our image, well, the scale factor would be 6/8, all right? The 8 shrunk to a 6. We can use that in proportion to solve for the surface area. Right, so my surface area of this shape is unknown. Remember, I put the 6 on top over here, so the measurement for that right shape must also be on top on this ratio. So my unknown up top here, compared to the 64 here, we just need to be careful and remember that it's not surface areas equal to heights. It's equal to the square of these heights in this scale factor. So I need to square the 6 and the 8 in order for this proportion to work. So I'm going to rewrite that over here to the left. So the left is x over 64. I need to square that scale factor. 6 squared will give me 36. 8 squared will give me 64. That is the proportion we will work with to solve for x. Cross multiplying here, although I'm sure some of you already know how these fractions work. You know the answer to x immediately. 64 times 36 gives me 2304. If I divide both sides by 64 here, I'm going to get a value of 36. So 36 meters squared would be the area, the surface area on this prism. So as we see, 1 dimension and 2 dimensions do not work the same. This surface area is half of this. Actually, it's not half of this. It's a little bit more than half of this. But it's not the same ratio as 6 to 8. Because 2 dimensions is not the same as 1 dimension. So again, the thing to remember, we do proportions to solve for similar solids, but the 1-dimensional measurements, the scale factor needs to get squared in that proportion. Let's apply our knowledge here to solve for the surface area of prism B. We can start with a scale factor. Okay, B over A is 12/8, but remember that scale factor squared will be proportional to the surface areas. So if I'm doing B over A, I have an unknown over 108. So x over 108 for my surface areas will equal the square of our scale factor, these 1-dimensional measurements. So 12 squared is 144, 8 squared is 64. This will be the proportion that we're going to cross multiply and solve. 64 times x is 64 x's. Then we have 144 times 108 to give me 15,552 Then we're dividing both sides by 64 to find our scale factor for prism B, which would be 243 inches squared. This works exactly the same way for cylinders and for, by the way, any solid. Okay, any surface area measurement is going to be proportional to scale factor measurements between any similar solids. Okay, so if we're going from A to B, we would have a scale factor of 16 to 24, and so that ratio squared will equal the ratio of scale factors from B to A. So unknown to 594 pi, x over 594 pi. Going to get some large values as we calculate here. 16 squared gives me 256. 24 squared is 576. That is proportional to x over 594 pi. Cross multiplying, I'm going to get 576x equal to, let's see here, 594 pi times 256 will give me 152,064 pi. We can divide both sides by 576 to find this surface area measurement for cylinder B, which would be 264 pi millimeters squared. In our last example here, we have a word problem. It says a pyramid has an edge of 3 yards and a surface area of 9 square yards. We had to determine the surface area of a similar pyramid with a corresponding edge to the 3 yards being 5 yards. So it's a pyramid this time, not a prism or a cone, but again, it does not matter. For surface area of any solids, they're going to be proportional to the scale factors for your similar solids. So my edges can give me my scale factor. I started with a 3, end up with a 5. That's a scale factor of 5 to 3. Again, that squared will equal the scale factor, or sorry, that will equal the value of our surface areas, okay, in the same ratio. So I put 5 on top. That is from my new pyramid with an unknown surface area. So my unknown variable needs to also be on top on this side compared to the surface area of the original, which had 9 square yards. Okay, 5 squared gives me 25. 3 squared gives me 9. So I get 25 to 9 equals x to 9. Spoiler, if the bottoms are both 9s, the top have to be the same too. They gotta both be 25. 9 times x gives me 9 x's. 25 times 9 gives me 225. If I divide both sides by 9, I get x equals 25 yards squared for the surface area of that similar pyramid. Guys, this wraps up our lesson on the surface area of prisms and cylinders. Don't forget 2 base areas plus perimeter times height. That works for a prism or a cylinder. Remember, the only difference is the bases of cylinders are always circles, so you always do pi r squared for those. Whereas for prisms, your bases can be many different types of shapes. Could be rectangles or triangles. Then we also learned the fact about our surface areas being proportional to squares. So as we set up the proportions, when we're dealing with 1 dimension and 2 dimensions, we need to make sure we're squaring the 1 dimension in those ratios. Again, that wraps up the lesson here. I'll see you in the next one, guys.